Okay guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we find ourselves in a little town, actually where I grew up, called Niles. It is a little town located kind of on the north end of Fremont, but also touches Union City, which is where I grew up at in California. And this is actually the town that inspired the fictional no-name town in the movie Toy Story 4. You know, that little town with the big grassy area, like at the park where the traveling carnival goes. Also all those antique shops in the movie. That area, or that city in the movie was inspired by Niles, California. Now, Pixar is really good at using local places around the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area, for their movies. You know, they are located in Emeryville, which is right next to Oakland, and then across the bridge from San Francisco, you can actually see San Francisco from Emeryville. And they have always been really good about using local areas for their inspiration for movies. So let's go ahead and let's take a walk around Niles, and let me show you how cool this little town is. Okay, so Niles, California was actually established in the 1850s, and it was a railroad town, a junction between Oakland and San Jose for like drop-off points and exchanges of the different train cars and things like that. So 1850s it was established, way back in the day. And up on the hill, and I don't know, I can try to show you it, they have a Niles sign, kind of like the Hollywood sign, though it's not stood up in the air, it's kind of painted on the hill. It's been there forever. Okay, so here is the Niles Train Museum, and this is actually the original station. But up there on the hill, you can see Niles, kind of right there. I'll zoom in on it, but Niles written up on that hill right there, a beautiful green right now because of all the rain we've been getting. And another fun fact about Niles: Niles was actually the home of Charlie Chaplin, a silent film star, way back in the day. So he lived here, and they filmed some movies actually out here in this area. And there is a silent film museum that way, which I will go show you guys right now. But yeah, Niles has a lot of history, and it's just a very, very cool town. All right, we're gonna take just a little walk across this town, but right now you can see all these antique shops. Right, and this is basically what Niles is. There's antique shops, there's a couple restaurants, ice creameries, all the way down this whole main strip, and it is absolutely cool and beautiful, and I love spending days here. It's so relaxing. On the weekends, they have so many things going on here, and it's just such a cool town, and this is why Pixar decided to use this town. Now, Pixar, there's a documentary or a movie about them from 2007 called Pixar Story, and I'm not going to go into like great detail because they do, but I can give you a summary of the Pixar story right now while I'm kind of walking to that museum that I want to go to and show you guys. Basically, 1974, a guy named Ed Catmull and Alvy Smith, they were both attending NIT, and they were part of the computer graphic lab. Well, 1979, a guy named George Lucas, right, which we know from, you know, American Graffiti, Star Wars, he recruited these guys to work for Lucasfilm in his computer division, and he basically wanted them to help create like a digital film and audio system for his movies, and they did, you know. And then in 1982, they actually began, after they developed some different technology, they began working alongside Industrial Light and Art, which is, you know, Lucas's special effects company. They started work for him, and they eventually created this new video technology that they called the Genesis effect. And the first time it was actually used was in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. So that is actually pretty cool. And then it gets a little weird from here, and a little different, but there are so many big names that are part of the Pixar story that this is why it is what it is. So 1983, I believe it is, comes along, and George Lucas then discovers a unknown digital animator by the name of John Lasseter after he was let go from Disney Animation Studios. So now John Lasseter actually had the vision of you know, winding traditional animation with computer animation, and at the time the CEO of Disney did not agree with him, and they actually fired him. He made a pitch about a movie, and they fired him because they thought it was just silly, right? So this is 1983 they did that, right? So well, around the same time, John Lasseter is introduced to George Lucas, and George Lucas, you know, loved everything about what he was doing, and immediately hired him at Lucasfilm. You know, and so around that same time when they hired John Lasseter, they began working on stuff, and they created this computer called the Pixar computer, which is a digital animation machine. And they basically they did sell that technology to like hospitals and to the government, but ultimately wasn't making enough money. So George Lucas decided to sell it off, the computer division part. And he didn't sell it outside, but he sold it internally to both Ed and Alvy, right? So he kept it internal, and that's where it kind of stayed for a little bit. Well, immediately, Ed and Alvy started looking for different investors for the company, for Pixar, right? I'm just looking at this little thing right here. Very cool. Silent museums right there. But anyways, back to that. They're looking for investors, and who shows up but Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, around that same exact time, coincidentally, he was actually let go from, or he left Apple because of different disagreements. And well, he found them and immediately loved what they were doing and loved the idea of the digital animation movies and all that stuff. And he basically purchased Pixar for $5 million and then reinvested another $5 million into technology so he could kind of see what they could do. Well, they then made this movie called Luxo Jr., which became the first full-length animated film that was, you know, all computer animation, and it actually was the first computer animated movie up for awards. That's why you see Luxo the lamp as their mascot now, basically, on their logo. So that was pretty cool. And then, God, from there, I think it was like 1988. Disney began different ideas, and they started thinking back about John Lasseter, right? And they were like, oh, John Lasseter, we need to team back up with him and get some projects going, because they seen all the stuff that Pixar was doing, and it was just like, they loved it, right? So they wanted John Lasseter back. Well, John Lasseter didn't want to go back because he knew that he had this movie in mind, and he knew that if he went back to Disney, he wouldn't be able to make it alone, right? So a few years go by after John Lasseter works on that, and then around 1991, somehow Disney gets back into the picture, and they go ahead and they talk with him, and John Lasseter presents the Toy Story idea to them. And he then gets approval and to partner up with Disney, and Disney Pixar then worked together on Toy Story with a $21 million budget from Disney, and the rest is history, right? So John Lasseter, you know, even though he left Disney or got fired from Disney, they saw a few years later that, you know what, God, we miss him. He was amazing. We need him back. And then the rest is history. Toy Story, and boom. That's where, you know, that's kind of where we're at now. Toy Story set Pixar off, and now it is the giant that it is. So, all right. So now we're down here at the Niles S&A Silent Film Museum. And yeah, this is a museum that has so many different things about the silent film era and like Charlie Chaplin. So here's actually Charlie Chaplin right here. Let me try to get a shot. There we go. It's right up against the glass. Whole history of Charlie Chaplin, because he did live in Niles. Lots of films were made here. Here's one, Bronco Billy, starring Gilbert Anderson, I guess. Yeah, but this is where Charlie Chaplin, I'm trying to get a view inside for you guys. There actually is a silent theater in there too, and they do show the movies still, which is really cool. So, bookstore, they got t-shirts and all this stuff. Charlie Chaplin Archives. Just a whole cool town that I love. And we got this restaurant over here called The Skillet, Old Country Cooking. It's actually really good. Always a line here. It's probably the most popular restaurant here. It's really, really, really good food though. Mostly breakfast and lunch. And then there's this bar up here that is very well known for a lot of bikers to come here. It's usually on the weekends. This whole thing is lined up with motorcycles and stuff. And there's a store right there called the Devil's Workshop. I don't actually know what's in there. I haven't been in there for a long time, but I know you do have to be 21 years old to go in there. So, yeah, that's a whole store in itself. But here's the Florence Bar, very popular. And there we go, Charlie Chaplin. So just a little itty bitty little statue of him, but it's been here forever. Lots of photo opportunities right here. So yeah, as you look back there, there is a town back there, and there is a school. I think there's one school back there. But primarily this little town is just these antique shops. Super, super cute. Very busy on the weekends. Very popular little kind of secret getaway out here in California in the East Bay. Not not too many people know about it, but the ones that do, they frequent it a lot. So it does get busy with a lot of repeat people that come here and love this little hidden gem out here. All these little antique shops, and this is totally the inspiration for Pixar for the town, the fictional town in the movie where the traveling carnival goes, and we see all the mishaps then take place. Now I kind of want to walk through and see if we could find any dolls that are like Gabby Gabby in the movie. I'm sure we can, because some of these places have some really cool old antiques, yeah, I don't know, we'll maybe go in and see if we could find one. I'm here a little early, so some of these shops are actually closed. They say they open at noon, so I'm here a little earlier than the town kind of mostly opens. Look at this old lantern right here. Isn't that cool? We got some old picture frames, really old pictures. It's just a really cool town. So maybe we'll go try to find our own little version of Gabby Gabby in one of these stores as I'm walking around. Okay, now my favorite food here in Niles is this place, Bronco Billy's Pizza. It is outstanding, and the size portions they give you are ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Every Saturday in this parking lot over here, they have a farmer's market / boutique little show. People selling all kinds of stuff in their booths and stuff. And I was thinking, let's take a little dip into this store, Lost in the Attic. Let's see what they got. All right, so I'm just kind of looking at some of these knickknacks. Look at these old Disneyland ears. They're like kind of like a mesh rubber. It's weird. But I didn't find Gabby Gabby, but I did find Pee Wee Herman. $150 they want for him, but 50% off, so $75. Still way too much money for Mr. Pee Wee Herman. We got these really cool old cameras. Look at that. Very cool. Cool old radio. Very nice. Look at this one. Wow. Check out this old mannequin. I mean, that is like a real boy. This is trippy. $300, 50% off. Wow. Sorry, music's loud. There's a little doll of Charlie Chaplin. This is we're at a different shop now. We're actually at my buddy's shop, and it's really cool. They got a lot of stuff, almost too much stuff. Look at this thing. Speaking of Toy Story, here's an original Rex. That's pretty cool, right? We found something. He also has toys galore in here. Old and new. Look at this. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That was a interesting movie. We got Casper stuff, Wonder Woman, just all kinds of stuff all over the place. Check it out. There's also a Kylo Ren teddy bear here. That's got to be from the Build-A-Bear factory, right? We got some old lunch boxes here. Got Mr. Merlin. Got Walt Disney Wonderful World. And we even have a Return of the Jedi over here. I actually have this with the thermos. Okay, still no Gabby Gabby, but we got my hero. And look who I found. Annabelle. She's almost like Gabby Gabby, right? Okay, now if I wanted, I could make a whole other video on hunting antiques and toys and Halloween and Christmas. Just here. I mean, there are so many stores here. I could do a whole video on that, but I'm not. I just want to show you guys a couple things in there, just because they're kind of cool. So we're gonna keep walking the town a little bit, show you guys some of the buildings, because the architecture is really cool, and I'll see if I can find some of the train stuff as well, just to show you that. They even have a little tattoo shop called the Dogfather. Now, I've never gotten any work done there. I almost did. I've been there a couple times, but I haven't got work done there yet. Probably in the future, though. Okay, now this super cool building right here with all the aged brick and the antique sign, this is definitely one of the inspirations for the movie. I mean, you just see how it is. Like, you got the cracks over here, and it's just aged and dirty, and it's beautiful. I mean, it is really pretty and cool. Simple antique sign, that's what they have in the movie. Definitely one of the inspirations for the movie, the town in the movie. All right, so at the south end of Niles Strip, we have this. This is actually fairly newer. This building was always here, but it was sold a few years back and became Flying A service. So got Niles established 1956. Now, it was in really bad condition, and I think the new owners just kind of renovated everything and turned it back into a working auto shop. It was a wreck. It was really bad a few years ago, and it's just so cool. They've got the old cars around here, the old like tow truck there. They have the really cool old Ford right over here. Let me cross this street and check it out, see if we can get pictures or video of that gas pump, because they got the old gas pumps there as well. And of course, the street wants to be busy right when I want to cross it. Go away, cars. I'm still waiting. Alright, now looks like a good time to go. Yeah, this is just a really cool old gas station. Lots of, they're on Instagram, and people take, a lot of pictures with it because it is really old school. But isn't that cool? Got the old style gas pumps there. Very, very nice. And it's back to being a beautiful working garage, Ooh, there goes dogs. They have neon there too. You got old style lights. This truck. Isn't that cool? It's absolutely just beautiful. This is a very cool place, and they did a great job getting it back to what it used to be. Very cool. We got this really cool old train, and it says Niles Merchants Association, and it's decorated for Christmas still. Very, very cute. It's just kind of a piece sitting here from the old days, and yeah, very cool. Here's a little dedication. That's just, Niles, California. It just doesn't really say anything crazy important, but pretty cool. And then here is the Niles Pantry. Actually, they put food out here for homeless to come by and pick up canned goods and stuff. It looks like it's really empty right now, but yeah, that's actually really nice of them to do so. Just kind of walking back now along the same route, and just see how cool these buildings are. The brick, the old wood, the old signs. Really, really cool. Here comes a fire truck. That guy was flying, going pretty fast. God, I kind of want a piece of pizza. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get a piece of pizza. All right, we grabbed a piece of pizza. Well, it's a slice of pizza, and it's actually ridiculous. That's what they call a slice. I got salami and mushroom, and I mean, you could see, look at, that's my hand, and it's like, it's a huge slice of pizza for $6. Oh, and it's so good too. Okay, so you know what? I was actually thinking about the movie, and there's a shot where you can reference this this grass area right here with all the antique shops right across the street. So you know what? I'm gonna take my drone up and see if we can match that shot. I mean, I know it is a cartoon, but still, let's give it a shot. I'm not sure if that worked too well. There was some kind of height restriction, so it wasn't letting me like connect or really fly too far. I think I got some footage. We'll see. Well, you would have just seen it actually, so because I'm recording this after I just flew the drone. So if you saw drone footage, I was able to get it. If you didn't, then this is what's playing now. So anyways, yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here, guys, but I just want to show you the town that inspired Toy Story 4. It is super cute, super fun, and this is it, guys. Pixar, using local towns as inspiration for their movies. And they've always done that. They've been really good about doing that. In fact, in The Incredibles, the very beginning of the Incredibles movie, when the police chase is happening, there's a map, and that map is of Emeryville, the town that Pixar is located in, and it is actually accurate as it can get. Like the street names, everything. So pretty cool. All right, guys, that's going to end it for this video for the day. So, Toy Story 4, guys, this is it. Niles, California, the town that was the inspiration for the fictional antique town of the Traveling Carnival. All right, guys, see you on the next video.